What was the first YouTube video you remember watching? My earliest memory, I think ever, is sitting behind the family computer watching a ridiculous stick figure animation video, some dated emo rock music, as did a lot of kids my age first discovering YouTube. Regardless of what your first video was, the only thing we can all agree on is that in the early 2000s, YouTube was like the wild, wild west. It was seen way more as a means of killing time by sending dumb cat videos to your friends and less full-on entertainment as it is now. It often blows my mind thinking about the gradual evolution of YouTube. Call it a stretch, but I think the invention of the site was one of the most impactful things ever created by man. As for me, growing up all I did was watch YouTube. More than TV, more than movies, the internet just fascinated me like nothing I've seen before, and I'm sure you can tell by this video, it still very much does. So, for this video, I watched hundreds of old YouTube classics from the early 2000s to the early 2010s so that you don't have to, and I grouped them into 5 different categories so that together we can undergo this nostalgic blast from the past. And of course, we'll have plenty of fun stories and tidbits along the way. I'll be covering the iconic viral hits we all know and love, as well as plenty of videos I'm sure you forgot all about, and it will definitely spark some repressed memories because that's exactly what it did for me. And before we jump headfirst into the past, I'd appreciate if you leave a like on this video at some point throughout, only if you feel like I've earned it. But without further ado, I give you the old YouTube experience. My first category of old YouTube videos would be the expected viral video and meme category. So it was far from easy categorizing many of these videos, but with this one I feel like it came very naturally. And it was the one people who grew up watching YouTube remember most. All the videos you can expect are in this category. Annoying Orange, Leave Britney Alone, Chocolate Rain, Charlie Bit My Finger, It's Peanut Butter Jelly Time, and so many more. The argument can be made that many of the videos in this category can be placed in some of the other ones, but I wanted to put the videos that transcended YouTube as a whole in regards to its virality. For example, Tay Zonde, the creator of the at the time comical Chocolate Rain song, became an overnight sensation after people realized how woke his song really was that discussed racial injustice in the lyrics. But since then, he's been interviewed by the likes of Vice, BET, Fox News, just to name a couple of outlets. Annoying Orange as well, the creators behind it outgrew the virality of the first hit video by later on making a mediocre, if I'm being generous, Cartoon Network TV show. So many of these videos are featured in the viral category because they become way more than a silly YouTube video, but instead a pop culture building block for many of the videos and memes we see on YouTube as well as the internet now. And speaking of which, the flip side of this category would be the abundant early meme videos that influence an entire generation's humor. When I think of early YouTube memes, one of the first things that come to mind was YouTube poop. YouTube Poop was probably the strangest corner of the site that would remix and edit all types of pre-existing media such as cartoons, TV shows, and games into often vulgar, satirical, and profane parody. The videos that were burned into my memory, as well as so many others as a kid, was one by the name of The Sky Had a Ouija and another by the name of Zelda the King's Unreasonable Demands. Both videos use animation from Super Mario and Legend of Zelda cartoons respectively. And I'm sure you can imagine the substance, or lack thereof, that these types of videos contain, and that's why I wouldn't necessarily recommend coming back to these because of how dumb they all were. Another early meme I remember being enthralled by was the iconic This Is Sparta meme. It was a simple video clip from the 2006 movie 300 that showed one of the Spartans kicking some guy down a hole. The clip circulated around YouTube and would soon be remixed, becoming one of the many anthems of this era. Videos such as Keyboard Cat or Nyan Cat were more odd videos to send to your friends to mess with them. This was the time, of course, when the internet was just absolutely obsessed with cats and bacon. It was just a simpler time, it really was. Speaking of sending annoying videos to your friends, I can't describe to you in the words the sheer disappointment that filled me when I clicked on videos such as cute little puppy doing cute things or how to build a nether portal in Minecraft, only to get greeted by Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. These troll videos, or Rick Rolled as they were called, took up way more videos on YouTube than I think anyone would like to admit. And of course, despite being absolutely seething, I'd still watch the full 3-minute song because to this day, it is an amazing song. But with that being said, I feel like that best describes the memes and viral video category. From here on out, we will get far more specific and far more forgotten. The next category of YouTube videos is lifestyle and tech videos. Now, I can understand from the sound of it, these two things might feel like they don't have too much in common, but let me explain how both of them, as well as what will become gaming on YouTube, are all interconnected. For the few that may not be familiar with the origin of the word vlog, vlog just means video blog. A blog that would be normally uploaded to a specific website or social media page that had a video aspect to it. Prior to YouTube, this was how it was, but with the introduction of the site, vlogging became easier than ever, and it evolved to pretty much whatever the creator wanted. Fun fact, the first YouTube video ever could be considered a vlog, as it is a snippet of one of the creators of YouTube's personal life. Hence why the first half of this category is lifestyle. I grouped together any video of someone showing off their personal life to any degree as a lifestyle type video. Some of them might definitely be amping it up for the camera, but nonetheless, we are seeing the person fully and not a character or skit. For some examples, the iconic Nintendo 64 video would be considered a lifestyle video. Adam Contra's, Grace Helbig, and Tyler Oakley were all under the classic lifestyle umbrella. Many people tend to forget that YouTube's old motto was to broadcast yourself. YouTube used to be a site about the average person turning on a camera and talking about really whatever you wanted to, which now of course sounds like a century ago, considering most creators have to worry about algorithms and thumbnails just to get a single view that isn't their own, but I digress. A notable lifestyle YouTuber you may have forgotten goes by the name of Boxy. So I remember her very vividly because of how much the internet hated her for some odd reason. I guess the main reason was that she was annoying to a lot of people because of her look, the way she spelled and the way she spoke in her life update videos. And looking back on it, I really do think that she was playing a character, but to be honest, she was no different than many of the teenage girls in the early 2000s. Plenty of girls were rocking the Hot Topic t-shirts with heavy eyeliner, using text lingo in normal conversation. I just see Boxy as a product of her time and a staple of how life was for a young adult with unrestricted access to the early internet. Many of these early vloggers overlap with the 2000s tech videos. From 2005 to 2010, the amount of tech that was released was just unreal, and the internet was one of the first times people can voice their opinions about it in video format, or if they wanted, they could simply just destroy the newest video game console. To each their own. Some of the videos that fascinated me as a kid were viral videos showing what happens after an iPod switches to 1,000 hours, and so many more videos of people destroying their computers and televisions. But I think one of my all-time favorite tech videos, and I say that with quotations, was the video game console predictions. One video in particular that shook me to my core was called Future Gen Consoles Wii 2, PS4, Xbox 720 ? Which, judging by the misspelled word consoles in the title, it was made by a child probably. Regardless, this video was a slideshow of what seemed to be like fake images of what the future video game consoles could look like and be called. And I love how so many of them are obviously fake, and as a kid I still took it almost as serious as that one Super Saiyan 1 to 100 video, which was very serious if you've seen it and you grew up on Dragon Ball and such. Regardless, just like Boxy, this video was such a product of its time. It's showing obviously fake 3D rendering of consoles that will never exist, as bodies by Drowning Pool is playing in the background. And on the note of how big video games were, I'd put any gaming videos from this time in this category as well. Gaming videos were nothing like they are now. They were more clip-based and less long playthroughs, but the playthroughs were coming around 2012, 2013, right? But around this time, gaming was just mainly clips. Many of the YouTube videos about games were just about flash games, such as Club Penguin and Adventure Quest. It's pretty straightforward, although the one video I have to mention that pops in my head when I think of early gaming on YouTube was the GTA San Andreas Bigfoot and UFO sighting. Again, just like the fake consoles, I believe these hoax videos and would legit boot up my PS2 and fly around the world with the little jetpack trying to find a UFO and or Bigfoot, whichever wouldn't come first. In other words, I was a gullible ass kid, but we will get into that later. It was very interesting to see how YouTube would shift as the years went by and the era of viral videos would blend with the rise of creators putting out consistent videos, which leads right into the next category. Comedy and skits is the third category of YouTube videos from this time. Many of the earliest consistent YouTubers, or content creators I guess they are called now, which by the way, I miss when YouTubers call themselves YouTubers. Content creator just sounds like you're trying to make dumb videos that you make online sound more professional. Like, you make Fortnite trick shot compilations, okay? calm down. Anyways, many of the iconic golden era YouTubers lie in this category. We had Niga Higa, we had Smosh, we had Ray William Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. I used to constantly have one of his dumb viral video reviews playing at some point of the day, knowing damn well I should not have been watching it, but they were funny. Something you have to keep in mind was that the humor back then, and even the humor leading up to 2016, would be considered, offensive today. It was a very different time. I really don't think shows like Equals 3 would do the sheer numbers that it did then, today, but we can still look back on it fondly. And speaking of numbers, this video would be impossible to talk about without discussing the first ever YouTuber to ever hit 1 million subscribers. Of course, we are talking about Lucas Cruikshank, also known by his character Fred Figglehorn. So, regarding Fred, the internet was completely divided. You either loved his videos and his content, and you found it hilarious, or you hated his guts. I don't know about you guys, but I liked his videos. I thought he was funny, and it was fun living vicariously through his character as a kid because he would get into all kinds of shenanigans like staying at a hotel alone or going to the movies. It was what every kid wanted to do but couldn't. But I do understand where the Fred haters are coming from. Like, I used to love Annoying Orange, but I tried watching him recently and it just didn't hit the same. Moving on from Fred, I was thinking about this the other day in regards to a lot of the comedian and skit-based YouTubers. I didn't really notice how talented they were and how many hats they had to wear. You had to be able to make skits, vlogs, and music videos, not to mention later on they would go on and split into gaming content as well. YouTube was a lot more new, so all the creators had all this time where they were just experimenting. For a lack of a better analogy, they were just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But instead, it made the videos that came from this time significantly more unique and creative, comparatively to the sometimes soulless content of today. But that's my little tangent for this category, as it's probably one of the more straightforward ones. Growing up on YouTube in the 2000s, online tutorials were an absolute staple of the YouTube classic experience. They'd have the watermark in the corner while typing in their notepad, trying to instruct you how to do some illegal activities like getting Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for free or how to download movies online. This category is all about the sometimes not so informative world of how-tos and tutorials. And if the background music wasn't the aforementioned Bodies by Drowning Pool, it would most definitely be Trance 009 Sound System Dreamscape. Now this song right here, I'll put it in the description so you can take a journey on your own, but this song was the definitive theme song to the early YouTube days, in my opinion. I have no idea to this day why we were so obsessed with this synthy track, but this is pretty tame compared to a lot of questionable songs we enjoyed. But going back to the main topic at hand, these tutorials riddled the internet and they would work, I'd say, about like 30% of the times. The other half, in my opinion, was a lot more interesting. Spreading misinformation has been a thing for probably however long humans have been on Earth. Many tutorials were parodies and troll videos that would often trick gullible kids like myself. Now's the part where we talk about how we believed nearly everything we saw on the internet. And at the time, I would never really read the comments, so if you grew up during this time, I would really like to know if I was just a dumb kid or was it like a shared experience. I'm like super curious. Maybe I was more gullible than I thought. Anyways, the first collection of fake tutorials or troll tutorials were the infamous Danebo tutorial videos. Danebo was mentioned before, if you haven't been taking notes, as a creator of Annoying Orange and had a separate channel dedicated to more visual effects type videos that she initially uploaded the Annoying Orange on. For example, Insane Car Battery Hack is one of the most viral videos on the channel, but upon closer inspection, it's obviously fake. The short video just has Danebo opening up a car battery and claiming that it has hundreds of AA batteries inside it, and a Game Boy, and a unicorn. Like, it's obviously a very dumb little video, but I genuinely believed it. And from the comments, now taking a look at it, it doesn't look like I was the only one. Another iconic example was how to turn your PS2 into a PS3. Aside from it just being physically impossible, I, who had a PS2 in the 2000s and desperately wanted to play a PlayStation 3, watched and hoped. I believe the guy in the video throws a paper 3 on his PS2 and just throws it in a washing machine, and it spontaneously just becomes a different console. Like, I'm sure you get the point. If you were a kid during this time, you probably believed everything, right? And I'm sure you can imagine just how it is now. How-to videos were some of the most watched videos because of their practicality. And unlike other things in this video, it hasn't changed much since then. That being said, I don't feel like there's much more to say aside from let's move on to our final and my personal favorite, the music videos and animation category. So back when, from my understanding, the copyright restrictions were a little more loose on YouTube, copyrighted music was everywhere. And granted, they didn't really make money, but they entertained millions. From fictional characters singing real songs to weird CG animated music videos, I loved this side of YouTube. It was just so fun seeing what the internet can do without restrictions. You can use any song because you weren't making any profit from these videos and do whatever you like with it. Some of the most creative videos on the site came from this freedom. Daft Hands, Evolution of Dance, SpongeBob singing We Will Rock You. The possibilities were truly endless. Something I absolutely have to discuss without a question is the birth of AMVs. Now, anime in the early 2000s was not really as mainstream as it is now. And I was never a huge anime kid, nor I am now. I just watched like the basic ones like Dragon Ball, Naruto. But when I was a kid, and I'm sure plenty would agree, there was something about Linkin Park and Dragon Ball Z that was magic. It was the most perfect combination of two things, and I love that those, as well as the Naruto and the other anime that I haven't seen, originated from this time in YouTube's history. On a completely separate note, there were so many original YouTube songs made during this time that I would still hum to myself randomly. We got the Bed Intruder song, we got the classic Duck song. It's a little more recent, but we have Ain't Nobody Got Time for That song. Got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. What an era to be alive. I would also include comedy skit music videos in this category as well, such as the lovely Potter Puppet Mysterious Ticking Noise. Again, Harry Potter was something that was never really my thing. I recently saw the first two movies, but I still love the song, and I know that there was a whole series that branched from the short video, and plenty of fan songs that were inspired by the video too that sometimes were better than the original song. And then on top of that, this was the birth of many internet fandoms as we know it. On that note, the second batch of videos in this category is animation, and oh did we have plenty of that. As I mentioned in the intro of this video, stick figure animations were my personal favorite genre of animated video, but it was a little more niche than that. On a side note, if you would like to see a deep dive on stick figure animations and games for a separate video, let me know because I really do enjoy the topic. When I think of early 2000s animated YouTube videos, I think of the many videos I came across as a kid that partially traumatized me, if I'm being honest, like Charlie the Unicorn or like Salad Fingers. Also, stop motion animation videos were quite abundant as well. The video I feel that is burned in my memory for some strange reason was the claymation soldier videos, where it would display little clay men in war situations. It was usually just a dumb, nonsensical, violent video, as were a lot of those early stop motion videos that lingered on the site. I can go on and on about all the little corners that previously thrived throughout the life of this website, but instead I will leave it at this. The old YouTube experience was something magical. The site felt new and strange and uncharted. I really do miss that allure, but I think absolutely no one from that time would realize the absolute global success that it would later grow into. But that's exactly why I think that these early videos were something truly special. It was when no one was chasing a dollar or an algorithm. The site just felt like a digital playground that everyone, despite your background or where you're from, is welcome. The YouTube landscape now can sometimes feel like an AI garbage-filled, recycled idea-riddled cesspool. But every once in a while, every so often, I'll watch that one video that reminds me why I feel the need, the urge, to broadcast myself. Thank you. Anyways, that was the old YouTube experience. Of course, I didn't go over every single video posted during that time, but I did just try to capture the overall vibe. If you do have any other ideas or any topic that you'd like to see me dive into, please let me know in the comments. Anyways, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.